All right, cool. So right now, we're gonna get into understanding your mind. Now, the first step is to understand how the mind actually works. Now, for this, we're gonna use a three-part model. Now, somewhere in the core here, there's this consciousness. This is you. Right? There's a conscious you, there's an aware self. So somewhere within your consciousness, there's a you. There's a core you. It's aware, it's observing, it's directing your focus, your choices, and this is who you really are. Right? This is your CEO, the driver. And when you're in charge, this is the version of you that's clear, focused, curious, creative. You're responsive instead of reactive, and you can navigate challenges. They clearly make decisions, and this is the version of you that we want to really let shine through.
Mind just give me a quick sec, just so I want to silence my notifications. My ex-wife is texting me and it's just getting me off track. If you don't mind.
No problem.
Thanks. Thanks a lot. Just wanted to clear that out of the way.
No worries. Good to go?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So this is you. At the center of this all is you. It's that spark. It's the same you. It's always been there. Now, the next layer out is the mind. And the mind, this is where you store memories, beliefs, patterns, behaviors, responses. And your mind is a very, very powerful processor. It allows you to learn and think and reason and create and imagine. But it has this tendency, you get pulled into loops. And you may get charged thoughts and emotions that create stress and self-doubt and scarcity. And when it's cluttered with these mental charges, we're going to get into it. It's like trying to drive with mud on your windshield. You're fighting against yourself, you're white knuckling through the day. And within this mind here, and you've got your conscious up here. And your subconscious. The conscious is where thinking, kind of the main experience tends to happen. And it's about 0.01% of your overall brain power. Subconscious is 99.99%. Everything's going on down here. It automates millions of processes. Most of the things you do are completely on autopilot. This is where your stored memories and emotions and all these things exist. Now, some of them are useful. Some of them help you if you want, and others not so much. So we're going to be exploring more about how to get rid of these. Now, the third piece to all this is outside of all this is your body. All right. And now the body, this is how you sense, you move through the world, you speak, you act. The body is actually how you experience life. And the choices that you make are implemented through your body, and it all comes from the mind. Now, your body has its own wisdom, it has muscle memory, and there's a lot of stuff that you can tune into, but it's also where we feel the effects of the mind. So when you're having something out here that's causing you to feel anxiety, you actually feel it in the body. You don't feel anything in the mind. When you're feeling good, when you do something good, you're feeling proud of yourself, you feel it in the body. So the body is where we actually experience everything and notice everything. We feel anxiety, heaviness, exhaustion, overwhelm. And that's all that. So here's kind of the three parts, right? There's the you, the mind, and the body. And here's how it fits together. So your consciousness here is in the driver's seat. Switch to that. Your consciousness here is in the driver's seat. Nope. Let's go red. All right. So consciousness here is driving the show. It's setting the course, right? That is in the core of everything that's coming from. And now your mind is feeding the stream of information and suggestions based on the past. Because we're not born knowing any of this. We're born knowing how to cry and poop, basically, is all we know how to do. So we have experiences, we learn from those experiences, and now your mind is trying to predict the future based on the past. And again, some of them are helpful, some of the things you've learned are useful, some not so much. So this is what lets you navigate, though, right? You have a roadmap, you have an operating system that's kept you alive so far. Because remember, the brain has one job, which is to keep you alive. That's all it cares about ultimately, is just keeping you alive so that you don't get eaten by a predator and pass along your genes. This is why social stuff, survival, reproduction is such a big deal. It's really all your brain cares about. With me so far?
Yeah.
All right, awesome. Now here's the tricky part. The consciousness feels like it's in the driver's seat, right? We feel this is where we really, really feel as us, but most of this is on autopilot. Remember, 99.99% of stuff that we do is on autopilot. Stored through these these memories, these experiences, these subconscious beliefs. And so a lot of times we think we're making a rational, logical decision, but you're actually being hijacked. You're being hijacked by some bullshit that happened 20 years ago or something that's useful. But this is where, you know, if you're a 5-year-old, if you're in a 5-year-old had an experience that left a imprint or a traumatic memory, and now that belief that is running the show, you basically got a 5-year-old running the show. And I think kids are absolutely amazing for a lot of reasons. They're pure, they're innocent. There's some of the highest creativity that you'll ever find in human beings exists in children. But like logically speaking, they're kind of idiots, right? They don't know how to like logically interpret events and make sense of it. So they'll create these like fantastical, crazy interpretations. Like for example, somebody at school was mean to me, therefore nobody likes me and everybody hates me. Like that's crazy, right? But that's how a 5-year-old brain thinks. And a lot of the stuff here you got in your operating system was the interpretations or the conclusions of a 5-year-old. Make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. So every experience you've ever had has been recorded by your mind, including the emotion that went along with that experience. Now, emotions if they had a strong emotional charge to them, there was a lot of emotion associated with an experience, then it makes a big imprint. So draw a new mind over here. So a very strong emotion with a lot, or very powerful experience with a lot of emotion makes a very strong imprint. If it was good, which again is interpreted for survival, if the brain was like, this was good, this was helpful, then what happens is it feels good, you get reward chemicals, the brain rewards you and says, this is good for survival, do more of this. And the more emotions you get, the more good feelings you get from it, the more important the brain believes it is. Alternatively, if you have a really negative experience, really powerful, such as you got rejected, the brain says, this is bad for survival, I'm gonna get kicked out of the tribe, I'm not gonna get to reproduce, I'm gonna be eaten by a tiger, and it's a matter of life and death. Therefore, it places a lot of importance on that experience, puts a lot of emotional baggage with it. And the biggest ones, the ones that make the biggest imprint, are the most likely to get reactivated later in life. So when you encounter a situation that reminds you of that original experience, you're reactivating this big red flag that says you're going to get eaten and not pass your genes along. So for example, let's say you got bit by a dog when you were little. And in your mind, so let's say you have a memory. So the brain thinks in pictures. Everything is an image in the mind. Right? If you think back on a memory, if you think back on your best and your worst memories, if you think back to what you had for breakfast today, if you think back to your first crush, everything's a picture. There's an image in the mind. And so let's say you had a negative experience. You got bit by a dog.
Oh, sorry, my mom is asking me something. Sorry. Sorry. Thanks. Mom, I'm on the phone. Where's Taya? She's at their house? Okay. Okay. Sorry about that. Everything's good.
All good?
Yeah.
So you had an experience in the past where you got bit by a dog. So here's you. You're walking down the street, you're smiling, even though your eye looks like that, it's all good. And you're walking down the street, and all of a sudden you get bit by a dog. It's supposed to be a dog. Dog. It's like a Mickey Mouse Wolverine dog. I don't know. It's a retarded dog. If you get bit by a dog, dog bites you on the arm, and your mind immediately records all the details of this experience. The pain, oh, my arm fucking hurts. The embarrassment, like let's say your friends are over here watching and they're like, oh damn, you get bit by a dog, shit, that sucks. They're over here, so now you're embarrassed.
Yeah.
And so immediately your brain takes all that pain, all the stuff, all the negative, and says, this memory is bad, negative, bad for survival. This is really, really bad. And it takes this entire memory and associates that negative feeling with it. And so now, fast forward to today, you're walking down the street, you're minding your own business. So now you're walking down the street, minding your own business, you're still happy, your face looks a little more normal now. And you're minding your own business. Now this cute little puppy, who the fuck that is? Cute little puppy. It's supposed to be a puppy. Cute little puppy comes up, wagging its tail. And what happens though? Before you can even consciously register what's going on, right? Before you can think, oh, cute puppy, I like puppies, your brain looks for reference experience. Because remember, we're always trying to predict the future based on the past. So your brain says, what do I know? How can I predict? What do I know about this experience? And it flashes back and it goes, oh, I remember, dog. Should make this red. Your brain flashes back and says, ah, that's right, dog equals bad. This whole scene equals bad, bad feelings, bad emotions. And all of a sudden you get the surge of fear, your body recoils, you freak out. And even though your conscious mind up here, right, your brain knows consciously, like the puppy is harmless, for that moment you're not reacting to the puppy in front of you. You're reacting to this memory, this emotion from your childhood from a long time ago that tells, and again, if we go remember this model here, your conscious and your unconscious, which is more powerful? Got 0.1% fighting against 99.9. This always wins, right? The unconscious always wins. So this is why you can logically know, go to the gym, I should go approach that person, I should not eat the cheesecake. You can know these things logically, and yet your unconscious is running the show and you'll do different things based on all these different memories. Now, we've got hundreds, thousands, maybe tens of thousands, millions. I have no idea what the number is. It's a lot. We have a lot of these memories shaping our thoughts and emotions and reactions. It's all running under the surface. It's running in the background. In the same way that you don't have to see how your computer works and your operating system works, it just works. Your mind is doing the same thing. And as you get older, the more intense the event, the more intense the emotion, the more distorting its influences. So now you're walking through life and you've got all these memories distorting your perception. Oh, there's that, there's that, there's that. That happened, that happened, that happened, that happened. And now you're walking through life with like drunk goggles on, basically. You're just not seeing things clearly for what they are. You're seeing things through these lenses of all these distorted perceptions. And sometimes you'll see a threat. This is why we get anxiety for no reason. Your brain will see a threat when there's not a threat because it's remembering the time that there was. So this creates self-doubt, causes us to play small, maybe lash out in anger or collapse, or look for like external validation to feel better, for quick fixes. So this is what's going on. This is the source of all your problems, everything in their life that's not going the way you want it to go, everything you don't have that you do want. This is what's going on with all of it. So if you want to get back your natural clarity, your confidence, your creativity, the most authentic version of you, you got to identify and get rid of these distorting lenses one by one. We need to backlog. We need to backlog all the stuff that's in there, all these charges, so that you can just be present with clear eyes right here. And so that's what this is about. That's what this entire course is about, is really, really just getting rid of this stuff that's in the way so that you can allow more of yourself to come back. Create a vision. We'll get into the tactics. We'll get into some very cool communication stuff. We'll do some very, very high level stuff a little bit later. But with all this stuff in the way, none of it matters. You can know all the how to do. You can know exactly what to do. In fact, you probably do know what to do. Maybe you're just not doing it at the level that you could be. Although you specifically, you're crushing it already. I don't know, like 2 weeks in. So speaking, like we know what to do. We're just not doing it. A lot of people who may be watching this recording in the future. So to really wrap our head around this, right, we're going to make a map. We're going to get a map of all the stuff that's going on. And there's there's a spectrum. Right, there's so there's a spectrum. Nope. One more time. There's a spectrum.
Yeah.
All right. So you can think of these different memories and these charges living on a spectrum of highly to emotionally charged. Now, at the very, very top of the spectrum right up here is a state of like non-judgmental awareness, acceptance, appreciation, gratitude. This is like flow state. Naturally in flow, and your mind is clear, and you're just present, you're curious, you're connected, you're creative. This is flow state. This is where this is up here. Below this, you've got like enthusiasm. It's where you're passionate, you're excited, you're eager, you're lit up about what you're doing, you're optimistic, you're energized, everything's good. It's great for taking inspired action and creating momentum. You've got cheerfulness, feeling content, friendly, good humor, you're balanced, you're capable, you're ready for whatever comes up. And right about here in the middle here is boredom. It's apathetic. You're not really excited or motivated, you're kind of checked out, but you're not upset. It's kind of like a cloudy day. You can function, but it's just kind of a little bit muted. And boredom is an interesting state because when you're bored, you need the brain's problem-solving machines. We're always looking for problems and things to solve. And when you're bored, you can either say, I'm bored, I'm gonna go create something. Now I have a problem to solve. I gotta create a business, start a business, gotta go sort out my dating life, my social life. I'm gonna go learn something. You'll create a problem to solve from boredom. Nobody just sits in boredom forever. So you'll create a problem to solve. So ideally, you create a problem up here that's useful for your life. But another problem you could do is you know, I'm bored. I'm gonna pick up the bottle and start drinking, or I'm gonna start smoking crack. Now you created a new problem for yourself. Now you're addicted to drugs. Still a problem for yourself, but this one's taking you down the scale. So as we start to move down here, now we're getting into negative states. Frustration, annoyance, anger. Things aren't going the way you want. Feeling really angry. There's energy to this, right? There's energy to anger. It's not really. We've got resentments. It's like a simmering. It's like a low boil. It's like feeling like a victim. I feel like I was wronged. I was taken advantage of. We get down to like fear and anxiety. Feel unsafe. I'm nervous. I feel out of control. There's doubt. I don't even hesitation. Don't even know if I'm capable. I second guess myself. Guilt and shame. Right? I'm unworthy. I've done something bad. I've failed. I'm a flaw. I'm a failure. All that stuff. Depression, grief, sadness, helpless, despair, heartbreak, and loss. It's like emotional quicksand. And this is where we just shut down and collapse. Right? People in like depression don't even fight back. Right? Somebody angry fight back. Some people in depression just sink into it. And even basic functioning is a challenge. And the further down you go, the stickier it gets, the deeper you go in, the lower your energy, the lower your capacity for action. And you go far enough down, you're just dead, right? Like, you know, big reason, yeah. So there's a scale. And the idea is we don't want to just live in this blissed out state up here all the time where you never feel anything negative or you never feel sad or anything like that ever again. Because there's a reason for emotions, right? If you lose somebody important to you or something, like you want, like some emotions are a natural part of life. And you actually need to experience the low ones, at least temporarily, to appreciate the high ones. Because if you're just like blissed out in ecstasy all the time, you'd get bored of it very, very quickly. Actually, you normalize this, right? If I lived up here all the time, I'm just like, everything's amazing all the time. You actually get bored of it. And you actually find yourself down here in boredom. You need to create some sort of new problem for yourself, right? So there's actually, so yeah, so it's a pendulum. You're moving up and down. And the idea is you want to spend more time up here than down here. And when you do find yourself down here, great, get it. And then you want to get yourself back up as quickly as possible, because this is all the stuff you want to create in your life happens up in here, including this very, very amazing art drawing that was written by my inner 5-year-old, apparently. So yeah, the idea here is we want to just develop mental and emotional flexibility to be able to move when you want to strategically, not get hijacked. Right? If you find yourself down here, you want to know you're here and be able to get yourself out of here as quickly as possible. And what will happen is when you clear a particular issue, these lenses of distortion will get removed and you'll be able to see and perceive the issue clearly in real time. And now all of a sudden, this thing that happened doesn't have power over you. You might still feel anger, but it won't control you.
Yeah.
Right? Don't just start acting out of anger and out of rage, doing things you'll later regret. You might feel fear, but you'll be able to move through it. You'll be able to take action with courage and poise and be under pressure and still do it anyways. Right? You might feel grief, you might feel sadness, but you'll be able to just let it flow through you and ride it without losing yourself in it and getting consumed by it. And with practice, you'll spend more and more time at the top end of the spectrum.
Mhm.
You'll handle challenges, navigate conflicts, make better choices, and you'll really just be in the driver's seat of your life instead of being in the passenger of whatever happens to you. It's a total game changer. Now, sometimes these can feel sticky and hard to shift, right? Especially when you know logically they're not serving you. Right? Logically, I know this doesn't make sense. I know I shouldn't feel that way, but I do. Right? And this is where this idea of polarity comes in. So
Mhm.
basically, the mind wants to see things in binary black and white. It's good or it's bad, right or wrong, positive or negative, because it's easier to think that way than find the nuances and understand paradoxes. All right. So, for example, let's say you have resentment towards your boss or someone at work. And in your mind, you may think of them as just bad. They're bad, they're unfair, they're manipulative, they're out to get me. And you can list off all the reasons why they're a bad person and you're an innocent victim. But the problem with this is that's not the whole truth. It's a very binary, it's a very black and white way of seeing it. And if you were to zoom out and look through less of a distorted lens, you'd see that this person is a mix, just like all of us.
Mhm.
Different habits, different traits, different intentions. Some are admirable, some are good, and some are not so much. But nobody's all good, nobody's all bad. Everybody's a very complex human being. And I believe, and this is a very useful mindset, is that everybody's doing their best at least most of the time. And so when you can get out of this polarized black and white interpretation, there's a lot of freedom there. Because when you're fixated on it, you're stuck. You can't release this charge. You can't get past this because you're only seeing part of the picture. It's like trying to put together a puzzle if you only have the dark pieces. You've got to have it rounded out and see the whole thing. And this is where clarity and power lies. Being able to see the whole picture and see the balance of everything. So part of this process that we're going to take you through is seeing these opposite traits and experiences that you haven't seen before. If you think someone is all bad, we're going to find the ways that they're good. If you're fixated on something that was lost or how you were hurt, we're going to find the gifts and the opportunities within that experience. If you're obsessing over what we don't have, then we're going to find the abundance that's already here. And this will upgrade us out of this either or, neither, both, like this binary thinking. And you'll ultimately develop the capacity to hold multiple truths at once, these shades of gray that reality really exists. And just not being so easily triggered, ego is not trying to preserve this narrow worldview, start showing up with more clarity, compassion, and it's just a very, very different way of moving through the world. And this is also one of the most transformative principles that I want you to take from this experience, is that everything is happening for you, not to you.
Uh-huh.
Nothing is happening to you. Everything is happening for you. And I know it doesn't seem that way, like when you're in a crisis or a challenge or something really seemingly fucked up happens. But when you look through polarity and you stop seeing it that way, you'll really be able to see that every experience is custom designed to bring you really to where you need to go. The situations that are the most triggering and the most traumatic, actually the ones that have the most potential for growth and awakening. And really what we're going to be doing here is alchemizing lead into gold. So I want you to keep this in mind as we identify these core charges. Right? These aren't problems to get rid of. Nothing bad happened. These are just portals. There's wisdom, there's strength, there's self-actualization. And with everything you clear, you're going to reclaim more of your innate authenticity, your brilliance. You're going to be more effective in creating what matters most to you. It's not always easy, but it's the most rewarding work that you'll ever do. You ready?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. So